making plans.
The whole idea of a family vacation is to spend time together as a family.
He's ready to hit the road. He's ready for the expense.
No, I'm asking how much the repairs are.
I'm asking you how much you got.
But he's not ready for National Lampoon's Vacation, a crazy classic comedy starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo. Monday at 8 on DC20, WDCE-TV.
Grab your gift list and hurry into Circuit City's holiday sale. Save now, don't wait. It's the best time to buy with great low prices guaranteed through Christmas. Like a 19-inch TV with cable-ready tuner and remote. Only $199.97 now. And a Sony audio system with 100-watt CD player, remote control, and more. Just $577.97 now. Save now, don't wait. Hurry into the holiday sale.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
Over time, European cars have evolved into fine luxury automobiles. The Lexus LS400, however, achieved car and driver's highest customer satisfaction ratings ever in value, workmanship, and overall satisfaction in just its first year. So much for the theory of evolution. Test drive the LS400 at your Washington area Lexus dealer.
It's important to remember that most people won't get rich playing the Virginia lottery. But winning the big prize certainly isn't the only reason to play. Because even if you don't win a lot of money playing the Virginia lottery...
Hey, this one's a winner! $2.
You can still have a lot of fun.
Catch of the day, now at a lottery retailer near you.
How do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? You start with a real premium beer. That's how Anheuser-Busch makes O'Doul's. O'Doul's is carefully brewed, fully fermented, and cold-aged. Then the alcohol is naturally removed, retaining all the great taste. So how do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? Ask for an ice-cold O'Doul's. O'Doul's, the taste will win you over.
The Washington Capitals and the Penguins are scoreless after one period of play at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. A rather nondescript 20 minutes of play. Both teams, I'm sure, will pick it up in the second period. Welcome back. I'm Jeff Riber here on WDCA along with Craig Laughlin. And speaking of Craig Laughlin, as we all well know, played for the Washington Capitals, among other teams in the National Hockey League. A fine right winger, but what you don't know, what few people do know, is that Craig's biggest dream was to be a goaltender in the National Hockey League. Another thing, many of us take for granted the equipment that players wear in the National Hockey League and the goalie's equipment, much like the catcher in baseball, the tools of ignorance. Well, last week, Craig Laughlin, if you could believe it, put on the goalie pads, and we'll take you back to the Capitol Center for an in-depth look at what a goaltender goes through in preparation for practice.
The goaltenders wear different equipment than forwards. Today, we're going to take a look at their equipment. First of all, their pants. They're a lot different than forwards' pants. They got protection on the inside of the legs. They're a lot more protected all over their pants to prevent injury when they take a puck anywhere on their pants. One piece of equipment that they use different from the forwards, it's much like a shin guard, but this is just to prevent knee injuries when the puck hits here. It's between the pad and the pants. When they're down on the ice, the puck hits here, it protects any injuries to the knee. Another part that's a lot different are the skates. They're protected here when they go like this to make the save with the puck. Puck hits here, it's hard ballistic plastic. These things, the blade's a lot different than the forward skate in that they're flat to deflect the pucks into the corners and away from the net. Next piece of equipment a goalie puts on are his pads. They're one of the most important parts of equipment. Over the years, they've got lighter and lighter, and they're used to protect the goalie's legs. They're 12 inches wide, and they're all custom made depending on the size of the goalie. The goaltender's pads are done up with these little belts here. There's seven of them on the pads, and they're used to hold the pad tight against the leg. 3 more pieces of equipment a goalie has to put on. This is called a blocker. It's used to deflect the pucks into the corner, and it's curved to prevent the pucks from coming up and hitting the goalie in the face. Second piece, the catching glove. All goalies like big catching gloves. A lot of protection, lets the goalie catch the puck. The final thing, which we're using all of Don Beaupre's equipment, Don Beaupre's mask, is the mask.
Come on, Locker, you're all dressed up and nowhere to go. Let's go.
Come on, Jeff, let's go. You can take some penalty shots on me. Let's go.
I'm waiting for this chance. Yes, it will be continued in our second intermission here on WDCA, and I can hardly wait. Craig Laughlin in goal against yours truly, Jeff Rimmer. But we've got more of our first intermission and the second period ahead. So stay tuned on WDCA.
Snowshoe Mountain Resort, where skiing is believing.
Haven't you earned a winter vacation? Make your reservations now for Snowshoe.
Phone 304-572-5252. That's 304-572-5252. Snowshoe Mountain Resort,
where skiing is believing.
At Giant, there are a lot of ways to save without giving up a thing.
Now, every time you use the American Express card, you could win a trip anywhere, to do anything. Because American Express is giving away $10,000 dream weekends, one a day, every day, for the rest of the year. Every time you use the card, you have another chance to win. Only with the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Grab your gift list and hurry into Circuit City's holiday sale. Save now, don't wait. It's the best time to buy with great low prices guaranteed through Christmas. Like a 19-inch TV with cable-ready tuner and remote. Only $199.97 now. And a Sony audio system with 100-watt CD player, remote control, and more. Just $577.97 now. Save now, don't wait. Hurry into the holiday sale.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
At Meineke Discount Mufflers, one thing we never discount is service. Because at Meineke, nothing is unimportant.
Jeff Rimmer and Craig Laughlin with the Capitals of the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. One period of play in the books. We are scoreless. And Craig, as we got a look here now, look back on that first 20 minutes. I'm interested in your thoughts overall.
Well, 0-0, I think, when you're in the dressing room, when you're coming into a rink like the Pittsburgh rink here, you're happy to come out 0-0 after one. You either want to be ahead by one or 0-0. So I'm sure the Capitals are sitting in the dressing room pretty pleased to be tied 0-0.
All right, what about these back-to-back games? Do the coaches like going head-to-head with a rival on successive nights, home and away?
Well, I'm not sure if the coaches do. The players, it's tough physically. But I think, you know, after beating Pittsburgh last night, they knew they were going to come in here, maybe get a different game plan from the Pittsburgh Penguins. The one thing good about it, though, the Capital players know the Pittsburgh players. They know how they played last night. They know their weaknesses. They know their strengths. So actually, it's an advantage to the player.
What's Terry telling them after a scoreless first period, much different than we saw the first period last night in Washington?
Well, I think he's looking at the chances they had. Shots are not always conclusive on how the team played, but I thought the Capitals had a lot of great chances by getting the puck down low and really forcing Peter Angelo to make some key saves. So if you keep getting chances, he's telling them, look, guys, the goals are going to come. Keep getting those good chances.
Do you think the two teams will open it up here in the second period?
I'm not sure if the Caps want to open it up. I think they're going to leave it up to the Pittsburgh Penguins if they want to open it up. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they're at home. They lost last night. They know they've got to get something going in this building. They haven't been playing well here. they might have to open it up come this second period to get the fans behind them.
We talked in the first period the surprise start for Peter Angelo. He faced a good number of shots there in that first 20 minutes. We're going to look at our Volkswagen stats in a moment, but came up very big.
He definitely did, and I think if you look at the 5 goals that were scored against him last night, how can a goalie stop slap shots from the slot? The Capitals scored 5 quality goals last night. Really wasn't his fault. Bob Johnson knows that, puts them back in net tonight.
Well, let's get a look now at those Volkswagen stats that we just spoke of. Of course, we are scoreless here at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. Caps with a decided edge in shots. Power plays, the Caps 0 for 2, but they are on the power play here. Bear in mind, as we begin the second period, Penguins 0 for 1. Total of 9 penalty minutes for Washington, 13 for the Penguins. Volkswagen intermission stats are brought to you by your Washington area Volkswagen dealers, where you'll find Farfanugan. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen. We'll be back with the second period. Stay tuned here on WDCN.
Someone has brought back the deadliest criminals in the city.
Remember the good old days when guns killed people?
But someone else just brought back the most dangerous cop. You're good, and you're dead. Treat Williams, Joe Piscopo, Dead Heat. You can't keep a good cop dead.
Elect Dead Heat, Tuesday at 8 on DC 20.
To nearly 1 million working men and women, it's a major employer, paying $10 billion in annual salaries. To our government, it's tax revenue, nearly $5 billion every year. To our farmers, it's a solid market, purchasing $600 million in U.S. crops. It's beer. And to 80 million responsible Americans, it remains a good part of the good life. A message from Budweiser.
Don't take a chance on anything less than Bell Atlantic quality, technology, and service. Make sure your cellular phone is on the Bell Atlantic system. Bell Atlantic Mobile. We're more than just talk.
Come to Chevy City and check this tech before you buy. Come.
Save even more with up to 1,000 cash back.
Now, every time you use the American Express card, you could win a trip anywhere, to do anything. Because American Express is giving away $10,000 dream weekends. One a day, every day for the rest of the year. Every time you use the card, you have another chance to win. Only with the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Tonight's Capitals hockey game is sponsored in part by Trustworthy Hardware, the problem solver. Your local Volkswagen dealer, where you'll find Farfanugan. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen. C&P Telephone Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company. And by Giant Food. We care about quality and value. We care about you.
Jeff Rimmer, Craig Laughlin, back with the Capitals here at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Set for the second period in a couple of minutes. And let's get you caught up to date on our Giant Food out-of-town scoreboard. One afternoon game, a final in overtime. The Rangers and the Islanders tying at 2. 18:29 of the third period. A goal by Brent Sutter sent the game into overtime. LaFontaine, number 15, and an assist for the Islanders. New Jersey and Minnesota scoreless in the first. In the second period, Boston leading Hartford by a score of 2-0. Not unlike the Capitals and the Penguins, that's a home-and-home series there. Winnipeg with a commanding lead over the Quebec Nordiques, and former Baltimore skipjack Sean Cronin has his first goal. That's a second period score. Chicago and Calgary scoreless in the first. L.A. and Montreal. It's 1-0 L.A. A goal by Sandstrom. He's on a hot streak right now, number 15 on the year for Thomas Sandstrom. Edmonton ahead of Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens. Charles Huddy with his third of the year there. Later on tonight, Vancouver at St. Louis. And at the Capitol Center tonight, the Bullets lead the Pacers in the third period, 67-56. We want to remind you the Bullets will be in Chicago against Michael Jordan and the Bulls Wednesday night. Yes, we'll have it for you right here on WDCA. It'll all get underway at 8:30. Two teams skating back out onto the ice. And Craig Laughlin, we would be remiss if we did not mention the fact that it is a somewhat sad day in the hockey world tonight. What with the death after a long battle with cancer of the Fog, Freddie Shero, passing away. Fred Shero, who of course led the Philadelphia Flyers to back-to-back Stanley Cups in the early 70s. In fact, 1979 took the Rangers to the Stanley Cup final. He's been battling cancer for a long time. Fred Shero, the legendary coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, passing away today in his mid-60s.
And one of the finest coach ever to coach in the NHL. And I had the privilege to actually meet Fred Shero when the Capitals brought him in during the playoffs in 1983-84 to bring him in, just help us out with a little knowledge that he had gained coach in Philadelphia. And I really enjoyed just talking to the man. He loved the game of hockey. He's going to be sorely missed.
And, of course, the man that led the Flyers to those consecutive Stanley Cup championships, passing away today after a long battle with cancer. Again, he will be missed. Capitals rallying around goaltender Jim Rivnak, as do the Penguins around Peter Angelo. And I look for this period to pick up a little bit in the pace. We are scoreless. The Penguins and the Capitals, as you watch Caps hockey on WDCA. The Caps with a tremendous road record here to get back to a respectable road mark, almost at 500. Craig at 6-7, but they've won 5 of their last 7 on the road. They've won 3 straight, and would like to add to that total here tonight against the Penguins to make it a perfect weekend.
And I think the shots on net, you know, Stevens has 2 shots, Coffey 1. That means they're really holding everybody else, the Reckies, the Cullens, off from shooting. That means they're doing a good job keeping the shots going wide of the net or going into the corner. They're not letting them get many shots on net.
Remember, the Capitals are on the power play and will be with the extra man for the next minute and 6 seconds as the shot is directed at Jim Rivnak. Left there for Kevin Hatcher, being chased by Mark Recchi. Hatcher with a quick feed to Pivonka. Turns away from Mullen, looks to center it to Dale Hutter. It's too far. Penguins in their own zone, clear it, but it's gloved by Pivonka. Pivonka at center. Turns away from Recchi, in over the line. Feeds it back on the right side for John Druce. Druce takes a hit there from Mullen. Caps keep it in, but the Penguins skate it out. Here's Zarley Zalapski, in over the line. Zalapski looking for Recchi, fires a shot high over top of Jim Rivnak. Mullen clears it behind the Washington net, comes all the way on the far side on the right wing for John Druce, who tips it for Kevin Hatcher. He sidesteps a check there from Barry Peterson. Hatcher now controlling the puck. Caps in over the line. Hatcher on the far side. Roberts steals it, clears it on the near side. 15 seconds remain as the shot is directed by John Druce towards the net, but the Penguins attempt to clear the zone, finally backhanded up into the crowd with 9 seconds remaining in the penalty.
The Penguins forcing the Capitals. The Capitals like to fire it in. Tonight they're trying to carry the puck in. The Penguins lining 5 guys across, really forcing them at the blue line, between the top of the circle and the blue line. The Caps can't get the puck down below the line. When they do, they can set up their diamond, their umbrella power play against the diamond and create some chances down low.
Penguins hope to get some good news on the Mario Lemieux situation here in the early part of December. He'll be re-examined by doctors and a decision made as to whether or not he can begin physical therapy. He's not expected back until mid-January at the earliest. Bob Rouse skates the puck onto the right wing. Lead pass there off the stick of Leach. Recchi has it. He feeds it ahead for Stevens. Stevens drops the pass for John Cullen, who puts the brakes on. It's off the stick of Rod Langway, back into the neutral zone. Johnson feeds it on the wing. Now it's cleared cross ice for John Cullen, intercepted there by Bob Rouse, who tips it to Mike Ridley at center. Ridley in over the line, looking for Dave Tippett. Cullen steals. Back come the Penguins. Here's Recchi in over the line, fires a shot. Rivnak with a blocker save. The rebound cleared off into the corner. Johnson and Recchi race after it, but Rouse is there for Washington, tipping it ahead to Mike Ridley. Ridley to Rod Langway. Langway at center. Carries it in over the line and flips it off into the corner. And icing, or rather offside the call, and both teams will make complete lineup changes here.
Get a look at Rod Langway there. He's changed his stick. He's went back to the wood stick. He tried his aluminum stick for most of the start of the season. I talked to him earlier today. He says, I'm going back to the wooden fiberglass stick. Said he couldn't get the feel of the aluminum. A lot of players like it. He's back to the wood stick that he's used most of his career.
Pivonka, Trottier set for the faceoff outside the Pittsburgh blue line. Back to Paul Stanton, who clears it rink wide for Paul Coffey. Coffey off the boards. Too far on the far side for Trottier. Kevin Hatcher puts the brakes on at the side of the Washington net. Off the boards, looking for Pivonka. Michael Pivonka skates it to center and over the line. Peter Bondra falls. Pivonka looking to feed it to Kelly Miller with a backhand, and play whistle down, and a tripping call upcoming. We'll have that call for you here on WDCA from Kerry Fraser after we step aside. We're still scoreless. Stay tuned.
Cos'è questa cosa qua? Mi sembra una cosa veramente strana.
It's a hot new 35mm camera from Canon.
It's just a camera.
Sembra sospetto.
The Canon Photora.
Camera.
With futuristic flash, automatic one-hand control, and long-range power zoom lens. Photora.
You have to come with us.
It's just a camera.
Please.
The new Photora from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Well, Paul Coffey in the penalty box for tripping number 77. The Capitals trying to come out of their zone. They're really working on their transition game. Pivonka coming down the wing, cuts to the middle, gets pulled down right there, gets the hook on him. Paul Coffey gets called for tripping. Right before that, Bondra came across the blue line. He was tripped up by Coffey. Coffey then hooked onto Pivonka. Coffey in the penalty box.
Caps with the extra man, but the puck fired by the Penguins back down to the Washington zone. Backhanded by Johansson. He feeds to Chris Felix. Felix at his own blue line to center. Wraps it off the boards. Into the Pittsburgh zone. Ridley on the far boards. Tied up there by Barry Peterson. Felix tips it behind the net for Stephen Leach. Penguins now come out of their own zone, and this is Calle Johansson. Circling inside his own blue line. Feeds to Felix. Back to Johansson. He overskates the puck. Here's Bob Arian over the line, and a save made by Rivnak. The rebound all the way to Mike Ridley. Ridley puts the brakes on, sidesteps a check, finds Bondra. Bondra in over the line, clears it behind the net. On the far boards, Leach is tied up. Bondra there to help him out. Gillen gets it for the Penguins. They'll be content to freeze it. Caps trying to carry it in off the point. Now it's Johansson. Feeding it to Ridley. Mike Ridley to Johansson. Quickly across to Felix. Back to Ridley to Johansson at the point. One-timer and a glove save by Peter Angelo, and he'll hold on with traffic in front.
Capitals really setting up that umbrella power play. They're working it at the top of the circles. They're just touch passing. It's called touch passing when you get it and you just flick it back before it even touches your stick. Calle Johansson, a good shot right down the middle. Penguins in a diamond formation. Bondra standing right there just in case there was a rebound. He gets pushed down by Zalapski. Peter Angelo makes the glove save, but the Capitals just touch passing that puck, moving it around. The diamond can't adapt to that power play quick enough. The Capitals get some good shots from right in the middle of the ice.
50 seconds remaining in the penalty to Coffey. Dale Hunter for Washington in the faceoff circle. John Drew steps in. Behind the net now, Pivonka steals the puck away from Roberts. Gets some help now for Drews as he circles in front. Peter Angelo with a save. And we got something going here at the side of the net. Away goes Hunter.
Hunter and Jimmy Johnson going at it. Hunter trying to get some room in front of that net, in front of Peter Angelo. When you're in front of the net, it's a job that a lot of people don't like. Dale Hunter, one of the best guys to be in front of that net, creating havoc.
Tell you, if there's a guy I wouldn't want to wrestle with, it'd be Dale Hunter, who always gets his man. Stay tuned. We've got second period action ahead on WDCA.
Some people think a Volkswagen Jetta is nothing to get excited about. Yeah, right. I mean, Nick, what's so exciting about height-adjustable steering, multi-adjustable seats, and a roomy interior for 5 adults, or Jetta's 17-cubic-foot trunk? Personally, I think that's exciting, and even more exciting is the way it's all put together. That's Farfignugan. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen.
Welcome back to Capitals Hockey on WDCA. We take a look at Dale Hunter in the penalty box. Middle mark on his face there. He's working hard in front of that net, grinding and holding, trying to create something on the power play. Dale Hunter, one of the best guys in front of the net. We see it here. John Drews comes out trying to score. Dale Hunter's trying to get to in front of the net. Jimmy Johnson has him cut off so he can't get to the front of the net. They both start going at it. Dale Hunter throwing a few rights. Jimmy Johnson with a few lefts and rights, both in the box.
All right, this is going to be interesting here now. There's an extra minor penalty tagged on to Gordy Roberts for roughing. Coincidental majors to Johnson and Hunter, so the Caps will now have a two-man advantage here. And it's time for our Circuit City Power Play contest. Tonight's second contestant, Betsy LaFond of Waldorf. Betsy's chosen Kevin Hatcher as the Capitals player to score on this power play. And if Hatcher scores, Betsy, you'll receive a video or stereo unit courtesy of Circuit City. So it's 5-on-3 hockey. 16-19 left to go here in the second period at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. We are still scoreless.
The key on this, Jeff, 5-on-3. You want to get a quality shot between the top of the circles in the net. You don't want long shots from the point. You want shots in tight.
Michael Pavaka on the far side feeds back to Johansson to Kevin Hatcher. Pinching in to Juice off the stick of Peter Angelo. Comes all the way back to the point. Hatcher again to Juice. Cross ice and a one-timer by Pavaka just failed to click. Calle Johansson feeding it to Ridley. Ridley over to Hatcher, who's pinching it off the point. Hatcher with a backhander in front, and again, Pavaka couldn't tip it. Calle Johansson, cross ice for Hatcher, a one-timer. Peter Angelo gets a piece of it. The rebound back to Hatcher again at the point. Scores! Kevin Hatcher! We've got a winner on our Circuit City power play. John Druce appears to be injured, but the Caps have scored with a two-man advantage.
And that's a big goal for the Capitals. 5-on-3, really working the puck. Johansson, Hatcher at the point. They're the quarterback to this thing. Hatcher, a good shot, saved by Peter Angelo. He doesn't get his glove on it. Hatcher keeps coming in. The Capitals tie up the Penguins. Hatcher comes in. High, hard shot over the blocker glove of Peter Angelo. John Druce is still on the ice out there. Appears to be hurt, but the Capitals get the goal here. You pay the price when you're in front of the net. The Capitals getting in front of the net, trying to go to the net. You can see right there in the replay, Trottier hit John Druce in the face. Hatcher comes in, picks up the puck, shoots it high over his glove.
Goal number 8 on the year for Kevin Hatcher. John Druce is okay. He's back on his feet here now. May have been clipped, and we may have some additional penalties being called by Kerry Fraser. Kevin Stevens has been ushered to the penalty box. Brian Trottier getting word now and going over to tell Bob Johnson, but Stevens gets a 10-minute misconduct.
Well, that line there, they're very frustrated. Last night, Cullen took a 10-minute misconduct. The Capitals not giving him any room out there.
Since Betsy LaFond chose Hatcher to score on the power play and Kevin Hatcher came through with a goal, Betsy has won a video or stereo unit of her choice from Circuit City. Congratulations, Betsy. 1-0, the Capitals lead. This is the second period, and the Caps still with a manpower advantage. Peter Bondra getting it ahead here to Stephen Leach, who turns at the face-off circle, feeds back to Mike Ridley. Ridley with the Caps enjoying a manpower advantage for the next minute and 5. Back to Hatcher. One time by Calle Johansson. Peter Angelo gloves it and holds on. Calle Johansson, who certainly in the absence tonight of Michael Tatarnov, along with Kevin Hatcher, getting a little bit of extra employment on the power play. Incidentally, Tatarnov not seriously hurt. He's got a back injury, and the Capitals feel, at least Terry Murray telling us before the game, that with the extra day off tomorrow plus tonight's game, that Tatarnov should be ready for the Ranger game next week in New York.
Here we get a look at Paul Stanton. He's a surprise to be in the Pittsburgh lineup. He came to the camp this year. Wasn't supposed to make the team. Got 7 points in 7 exhibition games. They said, hey, let's take a look at this guy. He's from Wisconsin University, where Badger Bob coached. I'm sure that helped a little bit, Jeff.
Caps controlling in the offensive zone. Cross-ice pass for Hatcher. Couldn't control it off the boards. The Penguins clear it, and back they come. In over the line. This is Bob Airy. 2-on-1. Cross-ice pass just missed Gillen. Comes all the way to Mike Ridley, who feeds to Bondra. Quick forward pass there to Leach. Stepping between 2 Pittsburgh defenders. 36 seconds left. Here's Hatcher pinching it off the point again. Cross ice for Johansson. Bondra feeds it back to Calle Johansson. Johansson between the face-off circles. Feeds it to Ridley. Down low. Bondra couldn't control. Penguins come out. This is Gillen. Skates it back to center, then flips it down into the Washington zone. 17 seconds remain in the minor penalty to Gord Roberts. Off for roughing. along with those coincidental major penalties. And this is Pivonka. One last rush for the Capitals. Sidesteps Paul Coffey. Pivonka looking for Kelly Miller. Behind the net, Miller steps into his man, Dineen. Now Coffey skates it back to his own blue line. Coffey leading the rush. Teams are back at full strength and over the line, and an offside call. We'll step aside with 14-14 left here in the second period. The Caps ahead by 1.
For most of us, the only thing that's more fun than staying home to watch the game is going out to watch the game.
Get with it. Come on down. Get with it. Come on.
So come on down, catch the game with Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry. And enjoy all the action on and off the field.
Have mercy. You got it now.
Jeff Rimmer, Craig Laughlin back here at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. The Washington Capitals with a power play goal here in the second period, and they lead the Penguins by a score of 1-0. Teams are at full strength. Rod Langway quickly feeding it ahead to Bob Joyce, who stepped into there by Gord Dineen, but still able to clear it into the Pittsburgh zone. Paul Coffey stops momentarily behind the Pittsburgh net, feeds it to Dineen. Lead pass for Recchi. Cross ice for John Cullen. He was off the linesman's skate. Cullen feeds it to Recchi just the same. Here's a shot. Ribnak to save. The rebound cleared by Kelly Miller. Miller with the puck. Back at his own blue line. Looking ahead for Tippett. Barry Peterson takes a hit from Tippett. In the neutral zone now, this is Cullen with Coffey. Paul Coffey in over the line. Cullen skates towards the net, takes the return feed. Backhanded by Langway. Rod Langway to Tippett. On the right wing is Kelly Miller. Tippett dumps it in. Miller runs after it. Into the corner. Pietrangelo steers it aside. And back comes Pittsburgh. John Cullen drops a pass on the far wing. Recchi being chased by Kevin Hatcher. The centering pass off his skate. Behind the net, Mike Lawler gets it for Washington. Lawler. Long lead pass for Tippett at center. And that one just failed to click. Now Gordy Roberts back to his own blue line. He's to center. Roberts on the right wing for Cullen. Streaking down the left side was Phil Bourque, but he couldn't get it. Hatcher with a backhand for Kyprios here on the near side. Mullen has Kyprios tied up. They'll freeze for a face-off in the Washington zone. 12:49 left here in the second period. Washington up by 1.
And we've got a Bullets update here. The Bullets are leading the Pacers in the fourth period, 83-80. And be sure to be with DC 20 Sports Wednesday night. The Bullets travel to Chicago to take on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. You can catch it live at 8:30 p.m. Join Mel Proctor, Phil Chenier as they call all the action right here on WDCA TV 20.
They've already met once in Washington, Craig, and a bit of a surprise for Michael Jordan. And the Bulls with a fine effort by the Bullets on their home court that night.
I like Jordan, Jeff, and I like those Air Jordan shoes.
I noticed. You got to get them a size bigger, though, so they fit me. Mike Lawler feeding it on the backhand on the far boards. Tip to Mike Ridley, who's turned around on the play at the blue line. Ridley now freezing along the boards. It squirts loose and comes all the way to Zalapski. Zalapski wraps it around the boards. Ribnak tips it, but it goes to Hatcher. Hatcher for Mike Ridley. Ridley with a backhand to Berglund. Tim Berglund dumping it into the Pittsburgh zone. Pietrangelo will come out and tee it up for his defenseman, Gord Roberts. Ahead here to Trottier. Off his stick, Phil Bourque tries to control. Kevin Hatcher into the neutral zone. Berglund steps up, steps into his man Zalapski. Now a right wing pass for Mullen off his skate. Lawler for Washington, playing very steady on the Caps blue line. Gets it ahead to Berglund. Or Ridley. Cross ice to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher takes a hit there from Phil Bourque, still able to get it into the offensive zone. Gordy Roberts turns away from traffic, feeds it on the left wing for Bourque. A centering pass for Mullen at center. Backhands to Trottier at the blue line. Trottier in over the line. Couldn't control the puck, and Bondra clears it onto the open side where Kalle Johansson feeds it ahead for Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher with Pivonka, Bondra, and Miller, the four of them in over the line. Hatcher directing it towards the net, but it's stopped there by Paul Coffey, and he feeds a long lead pass, but it was too far for Gillen. Racing after it here is Johansson. Icing is waved off. Bob Airy not able to come around. Yeager comes around the net on the wraparound, and play whistled down, and a cross-checking penalty upcoming here. The fans finally come to life. The Penguins will be on the power play. Stay tuned.
Now, every time you use the American Express card, you could win a trip anywhere, to do anything. Because American Express is giving away $10,000 dream weekends. One a day, every day, for the rest of the year. Every time you use the card, you have another chance to win. Only with the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
We get a look at Kevin Hatcher in the penalty box, and we can see why he's in the penalty box. The puck was turned over behind the net. Kevin Hatcher comes across, cross-checks Recchi. He's in the penalty box. Yeager tries to wrap around, Erie in front, cross-checks him, knocks him down. Kevin Hatcher in the penalty box for cross-checking.
So the Penguins are on the power play with Hatcher in the sin bin. This is Bob Rouse clearing it all the way back down to the Pittsburgh blue line. Coffey with a lead pass for Cullen. He couldn't control it, and it's cleared by Bob Rouse into the neutral zone. Kelly Miller turning away from a Penguin defender and dumps it into the Pittsburgh zone. Coffey very quickly skates it back to his own blue line. Throws a check there at Ridley's as he feeds across to Stanton. Cleared off the glass deep into the Washington zone. Rouse is there for the Capitals. Feeding it on the backhand to Kelly Miller. Miller with a lead pass for Ridley, and he couldn't knock it down. Off Ridley's stick, Coffey loses it to Mike Ridley. Here's Ridley's quick drive and a pad save, and he'll hold on. Peter Angelo. Fine work there by Mike Ridley in front of the Pittsburgh goaltender.
The fans getting on the Pittsburgh Penguins a little bit. They're on the power play, but the Capitals really forcing them, making them dump it in. And they don't like to dump it in. They've got Coffey who skates well. He likes to handle that puck. But they're making them stop at the Capitals' blue line. That's an advantage for the Capitals.
On our Giant Food out-of-town scoreboard, L.A. ahead of Montreal 3-1 in the second period. Thomas Sandstrom for Los Angeles, a hat trick at 12:15 of the second period. He is red hot, and he scored all 3 goals for L.A. tonight.
Here we get a look at Paul Coffey. He's the captain, number 77. One of probably the finest skaters in the NHL. He likes to come down the right wing and cut across. He's a left shot. He's a key to this power play for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, a lot of people wondered just where Thomas Sandstrom would fit in with the Los Angeles Kings, Craig, but boy, he's fit in very well since that trade coming over with Granato from the Rangers.
He's a very good hockey player, and he adds a little something different to the Los Angeles Kings because he's a gritty, grindy, feisty forward. They need somebody like that.
And Bernie Nichols right now struggling with the New York Rangers in a big way. Play underway. John Druce turned around by Zalapsky. Play goes right on. 51 seconds left in the extra man situation for the Penguins as Pittsburgh fires it into the Washington zone. Mike Lawler clears it off the stick up into the crowd. 9:57 left here in the second period from the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. The Capitals on WDCA with a 1-0 lead.
Pittsburgh Penguins making some changes. They had that power play out there, a power play that really didn't see a lot of ice time. They had a few turnovers. The defense not sure what the forwards are going to do. Now they've got Joey Mullen out there. He's a key guy. He shoots a puck extremely well. He's a right-handed shot. Look for him for that one-timer. They like one-timing to Joey Mullen.
Cullen wins the draw. Recchi feeds back to the point, and it's right back onto the stick of Cullen. Cullen to Recchi. Recchi sets up shot behind the net. Back to John Cullen. Feeds back to the point here to Paul Coffey. Coffey on the left wing for Zalapsky. Or the left point for Zalapsky, and it comes right back to Zarly Zalapsky again. In front was John Cullen, but he couldn't get his stick around to control the puck in front of Rivnak. Mike Ridley finds an opening and clears it down the ice right into the Pittsburgh zone where Peter Angelo sets it up there for Zalapsky. Zarly Zalapsky skating it back to his own blue line, leads the attack to center, in over the line. Here's Zalapsky. Puts the brakes on, but backhands it in front, and a backhander there by Cullen, but Rivnak was there. Paul Coffey's drive is tipped, and it goes wide. Lawler off the boards to Hunter. John Cullen steps into Hunter. Lawler clears it off the stick of Kelly Miller, and it's back down to the Pittsburgh zone. Team's back to full strength. Coffey to Cullen to Recchi. Recchi's drive way wide, and it comes all the way back down to the Pittsburgh zone. Racing after it there is Johnson. Dale Hunter skating in for the Capitals. Johnson tries to control the puck, and what a hit on Johnson. Dale Hunter with a good hit, but Kerry Fraser calls play, and he may be whistling down Hunter. Now, how did you see that check, Craig?
We'll take a break right here. We'll come back and see that check.
Stay tuned. Caps Hockey on WDCA.
In this book, I found a pet, but no name. He's got no name yet. In this book, I found a home, so no name has a place to roam. In this book, I found a vet, so no name's nose stays cold and wet. In this book, I found a ride to keep my no name by my side. But of all the things I've found, my pet, I haven't found no name's new name yet. The genuine CP telephone yellow pages, nor the book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
Well, Dale Hunter in the penalty box for holding. He's a guy, he's a feisty forward. He likes to get involved out there. He's the Capitals assistant captain. Likes to get involved. Hit behind the net, hit Jimmy Johnson. He gets called for holding. Grabbed him around the neck, pushed him pretty hard into the glass. He gets the penalty. We see it right here. Jimmy Johnson skating for the rolling puck. Dale Hunter comes in, puts his glove right in his face, pulls him down. Kerry Fraser at the blue line made the penalty call for holding.
Play underway. Stanton clears across ice. For Coffey, back to Stanton. Ahead here to Cullen, who crosses the Washington line, then feeds cross ice for Coffey. A shot in front. Mullen tipped it, but what a save by Jim Rivnak, who holds on.
Well, that is a key save, Jeff, and Rivnak looking behind him after the play. The Capitals looking into the net, but a big save, and they break down the ice. They're coming out of their zone. Here we have it. Cullen stops up at the blue line, hits the late man. They like doing that. Hits the late man. Joey Mullen drives to the net, a little slide pass. He tries to deflect it right over Rivnak. He's down, hits him right in the glove and the pads. He makes a big save.
And that was save number 9 in the hockey game for Jim Rivnak, but he left Mullen shaking his head. On the right wing for Ridley. The Caps are a man short. Ridley feeds it to Kelly Miller. Miller from the face-off circle, and a stick save made by Peter Angelo. Caps in the offensive zone. Remember, they are short-handed, and they did score one short-handed goal last night in their 7-3 victory over these same Penguins in Washington. They force a face-off, and the Penguin fans here at the Civic Arena letting the Pittsburgh Penguins know just how they feel.
And the way it's going for the Penguins, they're struggling a little bit on the power play. So Coach Badger Bob Johnson, he's just going to put out another line that maybe doesn't usually get the chance to play on the power play. He's going to put out Tanti, Trache, Peterson, see if they can get something going for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Incidentally, as we see Bob Johnson, he won his 200th game in the NHL on November the 3rd with a 3-1 win over the Rangers. Bob Johnson, the former coach of the Calgary Flames, the U.S. Olympic team, now back in the NHL with the Penguins. Play underway. Great hit by Mike Lawler on Zalapsky. They get sticks up. Play goes right on. Here's a shot in front. And Rivnak makes a save. Delay penalty upcoming here as Rivnak got that pad up with the butterfly style of goaltending. And he continues to stone these Penguins.
And he's calling Mike Lawler for a penalty. We'll come back with the Pittsburgh Penguin power play right after this.
The time to own the four-door sports car, the car that's outselling all the other imports in its class, is now. Because right now, the luxurious comfort, the sophisticated control, and the sheer power of this vehicle are as close as your nearest Nissan dealer, where a special allocation of Maximas is now in stock. But hurry, because at these year-end prices, they could move even faster out of the showroom than they do out on the road.
The Capitals throwing around their body tonight, really punishing the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here we have a nice hip check by Mike Lawler. The play keeps going on. He gives Zalapsky a little push in the face.
As we get back to live action, the Penguins, with a two-man advantage, have scored, and it is a 1-1 hockey game. The Penguins, playing 5-on-3, beat Jim Rivnak, and with 7:46 left, it's 1-1.
Joey Mullen, very dangerous, right off the face-off. Recchi and Kelly Miller goes right to the point to Paul Coffey. He steps into the middle. They want to open up that middle area. He steps up. He keeps walking down. Just takes a hard slap shot. Hits Rivnak's stick between his legs, ends up in the net.
So the Penguins have tied it up, playing 5-on-3. The Capitals had scored 5-on-3 earlier in this period with Hatcher's 8th of the year. And we're all tied up and still 1:54 remaining in the penalty. The minor to Lawler. Play underway. Pittsburgh in their own zone. This is Paul Coffey. Skates the puck to center. Coffey dumps it into the Washington zone. Racing after it there is Rod Langway, who has it tipped off the stick of Jim Rivnak. Langway gets it right back, wraps it to the point, off the boards. Ridley trying to force play out of the Washington zone, but the Penguins keep it in. Tanny cross ice for Coffey, who was skating in off the point, and the Penguins will have to regroup. Paul Coffey inside his own blue line. East to center. Leading the Pittsburgh attack into the Washington zone. Paul Coffey has it tipped off his stick by Kevin Hatcher. Joey Mullen gets it. Back to Coffey at the point. Coffey to Mullen. Mullen at the faceoff circle. Turned around by Hatcher. Ridley tries to clear it, but can't. Recchi gets it to Zalapski. Back to Paul Coffey with a shot in front. Rivnak gets a piece of the puck. It's off to the corner. Put right out of the stick of Mike Ridley, who will slow play down for the Capitals. He'll find an opening, and he dumps it back down to the Pittsburgh zone. Both teams change on the go. 47 seconds left in the minor to Lawler. As Coffey again skates it back to center, in over the line. Try to go around the defense with a backhand, but it's wide. Dave Tippett takes it off the boards, finds an opening, and it's back down into the Pittsburgh zone with 34 seconds left in the penalty.
Capitals doing a good job clearing the puck down the ice, forcing the Penguins to go back. That's where the Capitals are successful.
Jim Rivnak is injured, Craig, and appears to be in a great deal of pain. Play whistled down by referee Kerry Fraser, and he may have pulled a muscle as Stan Long is quickly off the Caps bench and out there to help the goaltender in difficulty. He may have pulled a muscle on that last exchange in front of the net.
He looks in a lot of pain. The referee blew the whistle right away, and they've credited the goal to Tony Tandy. He must have deflected that shot from the point on the 5-on-3, and it happens in this league, Jeff. You get a 5-on-3 in the first period, the chances are the other team is going to get a 5-on-3 power play, and sure enough, Penguins got a 5-on-3 for themselves after the Caps had one in the first period.
Tony Tandy with the goal for the Penguins to tie this hockey game. Just Tandy's second goal. Surprised he has but 2 goals.
I'm very surprised. He's a good goal-scoring winger. Very surprising.
And as you can see, Mike Layute skates out onto the ice as Rivnak is helped off to the Capitals dressing room. And he appears to be in a great deal of pain.
He's stepping on his leg very lightly. The trainer's over there, Doug Sheart, trying to help him up. Looks like he's in a lot of pain.
This is where we think he was injured, and we'll get a look at it here now, Craig.
Yeah, well, Paul Coffey just steams down the wing. He cuts wide, just takes a backhand here. Looks like Rivnak goes down in that butterfly formation. He then gets up. It looks like maybe when he did the splits there to try to stop that shot by Coffey, he might have pulled a muscle. He hasn't had a lot of work this game, 12 shots so far. He might have pulled a muscle.
Well, that's what at least the early indication appears. We'll try to get an update for you here on WDCA. But Jim Rivnak has been the story here for the Washington Capitals, forcing the Caps' hand here. He's been red hot of late. Exceptional performance Monday in a game you saw here on WDCA against the Detroit Red Wings. I thought played very well against Toronto in a win on home ice. And then last night against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And again, another solid effort as he stopped 39 shots in Washington's 7-3 win. But he leaves the ice, and Mike Layute is now on for Rivnak. 29 seconds remain in the penalty as Rod Langway dumps the puck into the Pittsburgh zone. Peter Angelo leaves it for Coffey. Coffey feeding it ahead. Penguins in over the Washington line, trying to get something going here now. Brian Trottier from the near side clears it off the glass. Langway is there for Washington, tips it right out of the stick of Barry Peterson. Peterson takes a hit from Langway. Tandy comes in to help out. Tony Tandy scored the only goal, passes it back, and the Caps clear the zone as Mike Lawler steps out of the penalty box, and we're back to full strength. Tandy turns away from Rod Langway, goes off Kevin Hatcher. He loses his edge. Lawler gets his man Trottier along the far side, and now Dave Tippett comes back, sidesteps a check. One of the Penguin forwards. Rod Langway there to help out, trying to freeze it along the boards for a faceoff. Puck comes back to Johnson. Quick save there made by Layute with the pad. Kevin Hatcher controls for Washington, finds an opening, dumps it all the way back down into the Pittsburgh zone. This is Roberts. He'll touch it. Icing will be the call, and a faceoff back in the Washington end. to Mike Layut's left.
The Capitals return home Friday night to face the Club de Hockey Canadien, the Montreal Canadiens, at 8:05 p.m. This will be their only visit to the Cap Center this year for the Canadiens. There are plenty of tickets are available, and you can get them by calling phone charge at 432-0200. Operators are on duty till 10 p.m.
Greg, I'm surprised. We've got the second intermission coming up here in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I said earlier it was your dream to play goal in the NHL. You were a fine forward. I'm surprised you're not teasing me about the upcoming shootout here and what might happen. Play is underway. You might want to think about that one for a while as play continues. And Calle Johansson feeds to Bob Rouse. On the wing for Bob Joyce. Rink-wide pass looking for Pivonka. Knocked down by Bob Airy, who quickly feeds it to Gillen. Gillen takes a hit from Rouse along the far side. Calle Johansson clears it off the boards. Caps trying to stay on side. Now it's a forward pass there for Bob Joyce. Joyce gets away from Johnson. Overskates the puck. Johnson now tied up by Bob Joyce. He clears it around on the boards, but Bob Rouse clears it right back into the corner. Joyce trying to force a face-off. Gets it to Pivonka. He's tied up by Gillen. Kicks it ahead. Roberts turns away from Joyce. Off Pivonka in front. Stealing it there for the Capitals is Peter Bondra looking for Pivonka, but the Penguins intercept and clear the zone. Gillen feeding it ahead to Airy, too far. The Penguins will change on the go as Layut tees it up there for Bob Rouse. Caps trying to get a quick transition game going here as the Penguins change on the go. Paul Stanton now at his own blue line, ahead to Cullen. He's got Kevin Stevens on the left wing. Here's Cullen between the face-off circles, and Layut gets a piece of it and just went bouncing wide to the short side. Mike Lawler feeding it ahead, all the way to center. Bondra to Tippett. Tippett in over the line. He's got Stanton with him. Dave Tippett fends off Stanton with one hand, and the Penguins able to clear it up, but not out. Now Stephen Leach racing on the far side. Tippett knocks his man down in front. Leach kicking it ahead. He's behind the net, still with the puck. Stephen Leach. The speedy Caps right winger feeding it back behind for Mike Ridley. Intercepted by the Penguins. Around on the near side, Recchi. Feeding it ahead here to Kevin Stevens. Stevens with John Cullen. Looking for Cullen, who is tied up by Lawler. Hatcher. For the Capitals. Back to his own blue line. Hatcher to center. Leading the Washington attack. Winds up with a shot, and it's off a skate. Zalapski ties up Hatcher. Penguins clear the zone. John Cullen has it tied up in his skates. Gives to Zalapski. Zalapski with a long shot. They're going to test Mike Layut here from a distance. Mike Layut coming on for Jim Rivnak. Rod Langway now back to center. Fakes a shot. Looking to feed it on the left wing for Bob Joyce. He's dumped by Johnson. Play goes right on.
Yes, Mike Layut, a little cold coming off that bench. They're going to try to test him, take some long shots, try to get something going in front of Layut. They want to take some long shots, but that might help Layut. He's going to get the feel of the puck.
Here's the pass to Hunter, looking to feed back to John Druce, but he was tied up. Zalapski gets up slowly. Back come the Penguins. Here's Mullen, drops a pass for Trottier. Mullen's cruising in front, but it's blocked by Mike Lawler with a fine defensive play. Stanton shot by Trottier all alone in front, but he couldn't control the puck. Back comes Washington, 2-on-2. Druce feeds it to Hunter. Trailing on the play is Joyce. He gets into the face-off circle, and a pad save, and he'll hold on. There was Peter Angelo. 2:19 left. We're tied 1-1. Caps hockey on WDCA.
A shot and a goal. Kelly Miller.
There is no substitute for extra effort. For the Caps, extra effort means solid results. And solid results are yours at Northern Virginia's Solid Savings Bank, Providence Savings. Providence offers free checking, ATMs that pay you, 6 different CDs, 5 money market plans, and over 40 home and construction loans. That's extra effort in banking. Providence Savings has 10 offices. Stop in today and let their extra effort give you a solid financial future. Providence Savings, your solid choice.
The Caps get a couple of chances. They're breaking out of their zone pretty easily because they're taking the men off the play. They end up getting a 2-on-1 here. We break in, little drop pass to Hunter, trying to get it back to Druce. Zalapski comes across, gets a piece of it, stopped by Peter Angelo.
2 minutes, 19 seconds left here in the second period. Teams are tied. A scoreless first period. Each team with a power play goal, 5-on-3 here in the second. Of course, the teams are at full strength right now. As time ticks off the clock, 2:07 left. Paul Coffey to his own line, in over the blue line. Here's Coffey feeding it back in front, and it was off the stick of Aiken and wide. Back comes Lawler for Washington. Mike Lawler feeding it ahead, looking for Berglund. Berglund chasing after it in the corner. They tie up along the boards, and Aiken clears it off the stick of Kyprios, and it's down the ice. Penguins dumping it back into the Washington zone. Kevin Hatcher will touch it. Icing will be the call with 1:39 left.
And Jeff, you were mentioning to me earlier about, myself playing goal, and all I know is that when I was playing, I used to play a lot of ball hockey. I used to have the pretty good hands, so I don't know, with the puck it's a lot different, but I did have good hands when I played ball hockey. Now, how about your shot? Do you have a good shot or don't you?
Well, I was more of a finesse player. I knew early, though, in my hockey career that I'd be better up watching as opposed to playing, though. But I enjoyed the competition with you, sure.
Does that mean you dangle with the puck and you try to dipsy-do and deke, or do you shoot the
Wayne Gretzky-esque, let's say that. Of course, I don't have anywhere near the talent that the great one has. Play in the Pittsburgh zone. Penguins able to clear the zone, and Bondra's got it at center. Peter Bondra trying to feed it ahead. And the Caps finally dump it in as Calle Johansson with a slap shot into the Pittsburgh zone. Bob Airy, fleet-footed former Baltimore skipjack, finds Jaromir Jagr, who's not getting as much ice time tonight as he had last night in Washington. And I'm surprised because I thought he played very well for Pittsburgh in the loss. Pavanka in over the line, looking to feed it ahead to Kelly Miller. Johansson dumps it off into the corner, and again, Airy is there with less than a minute to go. Gordon Roberts picks up the loose puck behind the net, clears it off the boards, and it's down the ice. Picking it up here now, the Penguins. They come in 3-on-2, and Jagr looking to feed it back to Bob Airy, and his pass just missed. Jagr sets up behind the net. This young 18-year-old Czechoslovakian, top draft choice of the Penguins, being chased by his fellow countryman there, Michael Pavanka. And something is going here now between Bob Airy and Bob Rouse. The official is quick to get in, and we'll wait and see if Kerry Fraser issues any penalties. He's skating off towards the penalty box, so it looks like we will have some at least minor calls here to Airy and Rouse.
Here we have the action behind the net. They're working here. Jagr, Michael Pavanka working behind the net. Pavanka trying to go after Jagr. They're both from the same town, Klasno in Czechoslovakia. Mike Pavanka knows him a little bit, watched him when he played junior. Then we have Rouse and Airy going at it, holding and hooking each other, pushing each other after the whistle.
2 minutes each for roughing to Rouse and Airy at 19:23. So that's why they both headed off to their respective dressing rooms. They'll be back in the third period. At least we'll start the third period in the penalty box. Washington Capitals, 3 straight wins. Playing very well on the road, having won 5 of their last 7. Trying to add to those totals here tonight against the Penguins. Had their points total in the Patrick division. John Cullen loses the draw to Dale Hunter. Kevin Hatcher skates the puck back to his own blue line. Hatcher on the right wing for Mike Ridley. There's it off into the corner, knocked down by Hunter. Dale Hunter takes a hit. Hunter loses his helmet, still able to get the puck back. Hunter tries to clear it back. Cullen overskates the puck. Hatcher on the backhand, off Recchi to Ridley. To Tippett. Tippett's drive steered aside by Peter Angelo. Kevin Hatcher pinching in off the point, wraps it wide. Now it's cleared off the backboards by Tippett into the opposite corner. Again, Hatcher pinching in. As play goes, or comes to an end here as the horn sounds, and each team exchanging power play goals in the second period. Hatcher for Washington, Tony Tanti for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Both goals scored on 5-on-3 situations. So we'll step aside, and our second intermission is ahead. Stay tuned on WDCA. Caps hockey here, and our intermission's ahead.
Everyone knows about my expansive vocabulary and the delineations I take with language. I went to